Hey, so in this video, I want to talk about height and how attractive can you be if you're a short guy and you're not very tall. So first we have to kind of, categorize what is short anyway. In the West, the average height is about 5'9". It's getting a little bit taller over time, but right now the average height is about 5'9". So anything under 5'9", you're going to be considered on the shorter side, but you're not going to be noticeably small. I know a lot of guys who are around 5'5", 5'6", and height is a huge concern for them, and they get really, really upset about it. They blame it on their lack of success with women. I have a good friend of mine who's 5'5", and he looks good. He's short, but he looks good, and he blames his height on not being able to get girls. He blames his height on a lot of things. But, when I look at his life, he manages to get pretty hot girls. He has no problem meeting women. They don't blow him off. But I do notice, and this is kind of interesting, that the couple of occasions where it has been an issue for him when women have said something, it's when they've noticed that he gets upset about his height and when he complains about it and he says something about how he's so small and he wishes he was taller. Well, women are going to file that away and they're going to use it for later on to attack you, because that's what women do. Women will attack you on your weakness until you can cover it up. Now, I've always said to men that, your height shouldn't be an issue. It's not a problem, and it really isn't. And I've always wanted to be able to back this up by research, because it would be really useful to be able to say, look, here's the scientific evidence and the proof that height isn't an issue when it comes to being attractive. So, finally, we have that evidence and that research at hand. So, an interesting study that was published by the Royal Society found that cues of body strength account for most of the variance in men's bodily attractiveness. Now, this is pretty interesting, because if you think about what makes a man attractive, if we look at it from an evolutionary biology point of view, it would indicate that men who are resourceful, men who are strong, men who are able to protect themselves and protect women are going to be seen as much more attractive. So this kind of fits in with a lot of the psychology behind it. But what was most interesting about this study, when they looked at all of these different variables like height and facial attractiveness and musculature, they found that it was the muscles and the strength which accounted for about 70% of a man's bodily attractiveness. So that basically means that being muscular is 7 times more attractive than being tall. And that is a really, really interesting piece of research. A short, powerful man is much more attractive, it's been found, than a tall man. And height is no indicator of strength. You've seen that when Mike Tyson used to box. He was taking down guys who were 6'5". He was about 5'10" himself, 5'11", and he had no problem taking them all down. All these guys were 6'3 plus, and he was taking them all down. So musculature, being strong, being powerful, is much more attractive to women. It's come out that it's actually a huge, huge factor when it comes to being seen as attractive. And I can back that up myself. If I don't work out, I'm about 145 pounds. But if I do work out and I hit the gym, which I usually do, I go up to about 175, 180 pounds. So it's a big, big difference. That's the difference between being 65 kilos and being about 80 kilos. So it's a huge difference, and women notice. They do notice. So if you're skinny and underweight, that's much more unattractive than being short. If you're a short guy, another great advantage is that it's a lot easier for you to put on muscle. How hard is it for tall guys to put on muscle? It's pretty difficult, because they have longer limbs. It's harder to get that muscle mass and to really pack on the muscle. And so you'll find that if you're shorter, you're going to be able to pack on a lot more muscle. And, as the research now shows, that is much more attractive than being tall. So if you're short, if you're underweight, if you're skinny, if it's an issue for you, and it will be if you're really short. If you're short and skinny, that's a double blow. But if you're short, put on some muscle, hit the gym. It doesn't take long to fill out. So I'm going to put this study in the link below. And if you need help with more issues on attraction and you need to know how to create and maintain attraction with women, don't forget to check out my book, Atomic Attraction. You can pick up your copy today by clicking on the link on this video. Talk to you guys soon.